So this is a video on how to do the programming. Basically, you'll see that there's this arrow here, and each of these is a different setting. All you got to do is, if occasionally the arrow gets off, but you make sure that arrow points to auto manual. Once you do that by twisting this, by the way, you just rotate it. So make sure the arrow gets to auto manual and push the button, and if you push it, it'll ask you like, how many minutes do you want to turn it on for? I almost always go for about 15, maybe 20 minutes if it's a hotter day, or if it's been a while since I've watered it, maybe 25 at the very most. And then you push it, and that will turn it on. You'll kind of hear it click, and you'll see some of the hoses kind of jiggle and shake, and you could kind of tell if it's running. You'll hear it. Now, based on which one is running, you gotta, you can see they're all in the closed position except for this one. So this one is running right now. It's the kind of that middle one, and let's see where it's going. So that middle one right now comes over here. So you can see sometimes this one gets off a little bit and it needs to be rotated or repositioned. So I'm gonna reposition it so that it kind of fully waters this. You'll see that it doesn't do a full rotation. It only does a little bit here. So sometimes you just kind of make sure that it's rotated there. So usually I'll do 15 or 20 minutes on this one. I'll do same, maybe 15 or 20 minutes on that one. Sometimes they have to be rotated between them. And that's really it. The only other thing that, of course, is that you would do these other beds. And again, the way to switch that up, it's a little tough to kind of get your hand underneath there. You kind of have to kind of squeeze your fingers underneath, but eventually you can kind of get it. And then this one's pretty easy to open because it's lower down. But you can see I opened that one. You open it by going vertical, and that caused the corner one to open. That's the corner lot. And again, if I want to shut it down, you can just turn it off there. And then lastly, I opened that one by going vertical. Again, it's a little hard to get these two middle ones, but that left middle one goes to this guy right here. So that's really it. I would go about 15 minutes for each of the three zones. The trick being that one of those actually is kind of split. So it ends up really being kind of 4 zones, but you have to kind of switch this one up. Usually I try to water all 4. Really maybe every other day is maybe okay. You don't have to do it every day. If you want it, if it's hot, you might want to do it every day, but you don't have to. You can do the same for these over here. If you want to, over here, you can either do it via hand. There's a hand watering one that you can turn on, or if you don't want to kind of do it by hand, you could turn it on to the sprinkler, and the sprinkler will kind of spray over everything right now. So the sprinkler is kind of one of those ones you can do if you want to set it and forget it. And that is the beauty of these timers, is that you can trust them to go off on their own, and you don't have to be here the whole time. So, for this particular one, it's set to go for another 17 minutes, and it'll turn off all by itself. But if you want to stick around and then switch it up to water the other ones, you can, but you can also leave if you want to. So that's really it. I'll do another video on some of the weeding and the other things.